What is happening, good people? I'm coming at you from Lucca, Italy for Macro Dirt Podcast number 51 with my man Jared the Greaseball Dillion. What's up, brother?
What's up, Jizz?
That's all you got for me today?
That's all I got.
You are soft. You are soft as cream cheese. What do you do to your hair? What's going on there? Did you slick it back or something?
Yeah, I just got when I get out of the shower in the morning, I just slick it back, and then when it dries, it like goes everywhere.
That's when you go Einstein mode?
Yeah.
Albert Einstein mode? Right on. So this has got to be number 51. Who's number 51 in our hearts, JD?
Bernie Williams.
Bernie Williams, 100%. So this is the Bernie Williams episode. 91 to 06, he was a Yankee. He's got 4 rings, a career 300. Yeah.
Should have been longer. Cashman shit-canned him, if you remember. Cashman did not invite him back. And, Bernie wanted to play for the Yankees. He didn't want to play for another team. So he played his last season with the Yankees.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, there's something beautiful about that, right? 15 seasons in one uniform. It's kind of unheard of in this day and age.
Yeah.
So deserves credit. 4 World Series rings. You got, that's pretty much all there is to say. If you're a career, baseball guy, that's probably the highest accolade that anybody cares about is the number of world championships you've won. So I give Bernie a lot of credit for being an integral member of those teams for sure. Right. So what's going on, JD? Let's crack into the markets, man.
Well, we are recording this on Juneteenth, Thursday, June 19th.
What is Juneteenth?
Well, it's a federal holiday now.
Yeah, I know why.
So this is what Biden did during his term. So basically, Juneteenth is, I forget the year, but Lincoln ended slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation. But, this is before the internet, so it kind of took a long time for word to get around. And like 2.5 years later, the last slaves found out that they were freed, and they were in Texas. So that's the purpose of the holiday, is to celebrate that day, the day that slavery actually ended.
Oh, that sounds great, but it sounds like a sketchy holiday of Biden, you know what I mean? Like a big cultural spin. I don't celebrate it, and so I'm glad that we're working today. So what do you think of the markets, man? What's going on?
I mean, so here we are, Thursday. It's a day off. Markets are closed. Futures are open. SPOOs are down about 40. I checked before I came in here. Bonds are pretty flat. Dollars up a skosh. Basically, it comes down to, are we going to bomb Iran? Are we going to take the B-2s in with the bunker busters and drop it on their nuclear facilities, or are we not? Right? Mm-hmm. And this morning I read an interesting interview with Victor Davis Hanson, and he was talking about basically, like, what kind of message are you trying to send if you let the Iranians skate with their regime intact, and 10 years down the line, they've built up their nuclear program again, and you have to do this all over again, and it's harder, right? Like, it's going to be 10 times as hard. Like, he was kind of making the argument that, look, like, Trump is not an isolationist. He's a Jacksonian, and he's willing to use the military as a deterrent. And the timeline on that is this weekend. I think the markets are not discounting that possibility enough. I don't think they're discounting the possibility that something goes sideways. So I want to be I want gamma. I want to be exposed to risk. I want to be exposed to the possibility that things get totally screwed up this weekend. So
go on short SPOOs?
I mean, short, or put spreads, or whatever is the best way to put that on. But yeah, I think you want to be short over the weekend. Yeah.
It feels like it's getting a little vulnerable. It looks like it's forming a little bit. While to my impression from 30,000 feet up, and I haven't been watching every tick, but I see where the tape is and I see where everything is. So, at stock with the S&P at 5940, we've got a kind of bottom of the range, in my opinion, between 5,900 and 59 and a quarter, but it's kind of making this curling top that looks like it can break back down into the moving averages if something good doesn't happen. by the same token, I feel like the VIX, closing at like 21, like that there's no respect still for what's going on, even though the Iran-Israeli escalation is heating up. I don't know if that changed, if much has changed. I mean, I'm sure the VIX is a little higher with stocks lower, but I don't think it's respecting a global conflict at all either.
No.
I mean, Russia just said that if Israel blew up Iran's huge nuclear facility, it would be a Chernobyl-like event, and the VIX doesn't look Chernobyl-y to me. So I mean, I feel like I'm not going to go home long, but I feel like if there's a resolution to this conflict, that the S&P can rally 300 points. So
I guess it comes down to, what would you rather do? Would you rather go into the weekend long or short? Like, what's more dangerous, or do you just want to go out flat?
Yeah.
Um,
Tomorrow's
yeah.
going to be an interesting session. I want to pay attention to what happens tomorrow. I mean, obviously, there's some more news out since the S&P closed and futures are a bit lower. Crude oil's a bit higher, creeping up to 76.15. If anything's interesting, it's the VIX and crude oil once again reflecting the headlines and things like that. So I don't know. Maybe the trade isn't necessarily to be short stocks, JD. Maybe it's to be long bonds or gold or Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the trade is to be long the dollar. You already
Oh,
had
yeah.
you had a pretty big squeeze earlier in the week. The dollar is acting better, but like I think the other point I want to make on this is that, let's say we bomb Iran's nuclear facilities, we nuke it into glass, they're done, regime change, it's over. A free Iran is one of the most bullish outcomes you could possibly have, right? Like, this state that was sponsoring terrorism all over the region is gone. Also, the other thing people don't really understand about Iran is, yes, they are a theocracy and yes, they are a dictatorship, but they're also communist. Now,
Yeah.
Iran is, the Persians are some of the smartest people in the world. They're doctors, they're engineers, they're lawyers, they're incredibly smart people. Let me ask you a question. What do you think the per capita GDP of Iran is?
Oh man, it's probably higher than Is it? Man, 500 bill dog or something like that.
Per capita, per capita.
Oh, per capita. Oh, geez, I don't know. What is it?
$4,000.
$4,000. Oh, okay. I'm thinking of
4,000. Dude, this is an incredibly poor country with some of the best intellectual capital. Like, I've written about this before in the Daily Dirt app. If you have regime change in Iran, I want an Iran ETF tomorrow. I want to buy the crap out of it. It's going to be growing at like 80% per year. It's like, literally, and
Yeah.
it's an incredible opportunity. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying we should bomb Iran and kill a bunch of people just so but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, no, I do. I tell you, I think it's going to get a little bit more difficult to bomb Iran and kill 91 million people, which is the population. Which, I don't know if you saw, Tucker Carlson asked
I
Ted
did see
Cruz.
that. Yeah,
He pantsed the guy.
I don't know how Cruz doesn't know that. Now, I wouldn't have said 91 million. I would have said 80 million. That would have been my answer. 80 million.
The fact that he couldn't venture a guess tells me that he didn't know within 50 million.
Yeah.
Guy couldn't throw a number out, and it's
And
like,
Cruz is a smart guy. He is.
right? One of the most best educated people in Congress history.
Yeah.
And doesn't know that, and then couldn't articulate a great case for why we want to topple the leadership there, and Tucker's like, what the fuck? So that got a little intense, but it was interesting. I think it was important. I think it was a great thing for the new media to expose him that way, like that. What do you think?
Tucker Carlson. Trump is not super happy with Tucker Carlson at the moment. Called him kooky Tucker Carlson. And then Tucker was like, yeah, I am a bit kooky.
Yeah, he admits it. He totally admits it. That's fair. That's great, man. You know what, though? I'm just looking at the DXY chart right now, and I kind of like the fact that it made a new low below 98 and then came roaring back to 99.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my trigger now with that new low rejection on the upside is if this sucker gets above 99 and a half, 99 and three quarters on a closing basis. It can go to 102 and a half with no resistance. So that would be
It's
a
gonna
major
run
move.
like an antelope.
Out of control.
I'm just
Absolutely.
using your
Totally.
Phish phrase over and over again, man.
I
I'm
know,
just
I know. I love that you. I love though. I love that you embrace it and you stole it, and that's just fantastic. We'll have you listening to Antelope. We'll have you playing Antelope
by the
on one of your
way,
mixes.
I don't know if you saw my Substack White Dudes. Did you see that?
I didn't.
Okay.
What
So
was it
I
about?
basically talk about like white guy culture, right? And I talk about like fishing and riding ATVs and wearing like pink polo shirts and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I talked about Phish, and I said, TG, I want to come to a concert with you at MSG to see Phish. I do. I want to.
That means
Because it's contempt prior to investigation. I can't shit on Phish all the time. I have to see for myself what it's all about. I
I
have to
love
see for
you.
myself.
I love you for your intellectual honesty. I really do, man. That's it's absolutely true. If you're not in one, so I will take you to any one of the shows that you want. Maybe I'll come down there and we'll go see them. You know what I mean? They do travel all
Yep.
around the country, so we should. But I like that contempt without investigation. I'm going to start using that. That's excellent. But I think you'll be impressed. You appreciate outstanding musicianship, and you appreciate wildly talented people, and I think and creation. And the thing about that is kind of like the the what's the guy, the producer that I'm thinking about from Long Beach that wrote the book, the creative Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin, I was just watching a clip where he was saying the most special thing about the Grateful Dead is that they are creating moments, right? They're playing their music. It's going to be different every time. It's an expression that you only get to see once. And that's his view of the art. And that's why it makes it so special. And that's what he tries to recreate in the studio. So we'll get
Yep.
you to a Phish show soon. JD,
Yep.
tell me what you think about gold around here. To me, it's kind of bobbling in a range, and I thought it would have been higher given this bit of escalation that we're seeing today. Cash gold is obviously open, and it's 33.70 or so. What do you think?
I'm actually not surprised that it's running into a little bit of resistance here. Gold always does the exact freaking opposite of what you expect it to do. It really does. We're World War III, we're gonna bomb Iran. Gold's unch.
Right,
Like
right. It is. I literally, you said that, dude. When I saw that Khomeini told Trump that like there will be no negotiation, I'm like, oh my god, gold is 37.50 bid, no offer, and you look up and it's like, no, it's not. Really brutal. I tell you, it contributes to the idea that it is now in a range, a topping range between 3,200 and 3,500. That it needs to shit off or get off the pot soon because now you've got the new high converging with the moving averages, and something's got to give.
Speaking of which, we got to talk about the Fed meeting a little bit.
Go ahead. You're better at that than me, please.
Yeah. So it was kind of a nothing burger. The directive was a little bit dovish, but they moved up the dots in 2026. So I think that was the more hawkish part of it. Bonds sold off, not hard, but they sold off after the Fed meeting. Short-term rates sold off after the Fed meeting. I think it was a little bit of a hawkish meeting. But the reason that popped into my head is like kind of tough for gold to rally if the Fed is still going to sit on 4.5% Fed funds for the foreseeable future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the issue.
Totally fair. Totally fair. I don't have a view in bonds whatsoever. I'm not even. I have nothing to say other than another thing that I thought might have been higher. And why is Trump so pissy at Jerome Powell? How would you explain that? I see him ranting like a semi idiot, and I'm just wondering why he's so desperate to get rates lower.
Um, this isn't new. He did this in his first term with Powell.
Yeah.
Trump. Here's the thing. Trump is right and wrong at the same time, right? Trump is right in that Fed funds should be lower right now, right? Like the Fed funds should be at 3 or 3.5 right now, based on what's going on with the economy. So Trump is right about that, and he's also right that the Fed is politically motivated and they're just giving him the middle finger by not cutting rates. He's also right about that.
You think,
But
JD?
what's that?
You think so? You think that
Oh, absolutely.
that's a blatant GFY? We're not doing it
Yeah.
because that's what you want. Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Man, I didn't think
So,
that they were that ruthless, but
oh yeah, absolutely, dude. I have learned a lot about the Fed from some people in the last couple years. Like, dude, the political motivations behind interest rates, you would not believe it. You would not believe it.
really,
Sometime offline, I'll tell you some of the stuff I've heard, right? I
yeah,
mean, but
yeah. I
you could
guess,
see it. You could see it leading up to the election. They cut Fed funds 1% right before the election.
yeah,
Right before the election.
yeah.
And
And you
after
and I,
Trump gets elected, they stop cutting, you know.
yeah, it's true. And at that time, it seemed like we were in danger of tipping back into a really serious inflationary environment. You know what I mean? Like, and I thought that that was going to be where the inflation dipped and the Fed raised rates and stuffed Trump with another like 5.5 CPI print that he had to deal with. You know what I mean? And it's even the opposite direction of rates the way he wanted them. So that's how I thought that they were trying to pull that off back when they did that. So we'll
But
see what
the
happens.
part that Trump is wrong about is, dude, the president should not have any say in monetary policy at all, right? Like, you know, Biden, to his credit, commented once on monetary policy the whole time he was president. Now, he was fucking like, you know, out of his tree, but he only commented on rates once, right?
Yeah.
Trump Trump would not be satisfied with 3% Fed funds. He wants negative rates. And he wants a Fed chairman that is going to do it. And the guy that he wants, my prediction right now, you can timestamp me on this, is Kevin Hassett.
Oh, really?
Kevin
Oh,
Hassett.
okay. Okay, interesting. Can he be considered a Trumper or somebody that will sympathize with that view and say, yeah, we're going to hack rates?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, first of all, a little background on Kevin Hassett. Do you remember in the .com bubble, somebody wrote the book Dow 36,000? You know,
Yeah,
and the Dow was like at 8,000 at the time, and they published
I
this
do.
book, Dow 36,000. That was
Yep.
Kevin Hassett.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was just saying, dude, this is making me so bullish the stock market. If he's eventually going to get a Fed chair in there that's going to be aggressive, I mean, it's buy semiconductors all over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. It's another 2 year run of buy semiconductors. There goes my freshman year roommate Mike Cummings, famous Cornell lacrosse player. He's out here in Ithaca with us. I mean, he's out here in Italy with us having a great time. Or I'm here with him. We're here together. It's great. Get back to the markets. Um, all right. So the Fed is politically motivated to stuff Trump. We've got 440 in the 10 year. What's the next? You think the next 1% in the 10 year is lower, JD, in rates or higher? If you had to make
I
that bet,
really don't know. I don't know.
no. Okay, I was just trying to vet out a
I
view if you
guess
had
if
it.
you made me choose, I would say lower. But I have like less than zero conviction on that. So
Okay, no, totally fine, totally
the
fine.
charts
What do you
are,
think
I
about?
mean, if you pulled up a chart, like the charts are not telling me anything right now. Like it's,
Yeah, yeah, nothing in rate land. The only thing that's
yeah.
semi interesting to me, JD, is in WTI. If you draw a descending trend line from, and we're going to post this chart from the 94 high in 2023 down to the 90 high in 24 down to the 80 high in 2025 so far, you get right to last sale, right? That descending trend line from all of these last several years highs is right here at $76. So that's interesting to me because if we get above $76, I got smooth sailing to $100. So there might be a trade within that. And what else is interesting to complement it is that we've got the Bloomberg Commodities Index back to the top of the range with kind of gold in the middle of this range at the highs and crude oil about to break out. So we're once again in danger of the BCOM breaking the top side of the range. So that'll be
Yep.
interesting to see what happens.
Yep.
And that's kind of counter your dollar bullish move because if the dollar does go to 102, gold and base metals are going to go down.
Yep.
I firmly believe that now that gold is in 37 to 50 bid with this escalation, forget it. If the dollar turns, gold is fucking done. I mean, for a $300 slide, not done, but it's going to sell off.
Yeah.
That is a trade that I will pounce
You've been
on.
watching platinum?
Yeah. Where's it last? I haven't checked it since I've been overseas.
13 something.
Oh yeah, so it's still hugging the highs. Has it made a new high?
Small new high, I think.
I think that's right. Sorry, let me get it up in front of me. Yeah, you're right. It ticked into a new high of 1350 essentially, and then just backed off to 1278. But there's no reversal in play, and it's still making higher lows. The trend looks great. What do you think that is, JD? What do you think? What's
Dude,
up with that?
I think platinum is cocoa all over again. I think it's cocoa. I think it's
just a short squeeze?
think it's, oh my god, like one of the biggest short squeezes of all time.
Who's shorted? Why? What is that? What's a short platinum trade, or is it an exchange short or something like that? What do you think?
I don't really know the mechanics of that market. I don't really know. So
it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one under the hood. Okay, that's interesting. What else? Top of mind?
that's about it for me. Market stuff.
Yeah, we covered the markets for sure. If we go off markets for a second, I'll tell you, I went to a really cool place yesterday on a big, beautiful cruise boat with like 60 of my best friends, which is really fun. Place called Porto Venere. It dates back to the 1st century before Christ. Old Roman fishing town. We were out in the bay there in the water, but it's right by Cinque Terre and just an absolutely beautiful part of Italy. Have you ever been to Italy, JD?
No, never been.
You can't get the smile off my face when I'm here. For the most part. I got here. I spent a day in Florence by myself. I did a little Michelangelo walking tour. I grokked who has the best Florentine steak in Florence, and went to one of the top 3 places that Grok gave me, and it was like an off-the-charts steak. It tastes like, I think it's what they feed them here and no pesticides, but it just tastes like the best backyard barbecue steak that you ever had in your life, And it's just different because they don't drench it in butter. It's just like natural salt and pepper, man.
If you want to read a book about Michelangelo and
Agony and the Ecstasy?
Yeah, have you read it?
3 times.
Yeah, I've read it.
Literally one of the most impactful books on my life.
Yeah, I mean, he was like 22 when he was doing that stuff.
Insane. Absolutely insane. I think he did the Pietà at 25.
Yep.
The stories behind Michelangelo's works are really tremendous. Like, there are great stories about how he got some of the pieces of marble. Like the David was carved into a freaking like a loafing like thing of like throwback marble. Was not supposed to be carved in that. It was like he was supposed to wait to get like another high quality piece, and he's like, "Screw it, I'm just going right into this thing." Ding, 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 ding. Next thing you know, David's there. David, the statue with the greatest ass of all time. You literally, if you walk behind him, you wish you had an ass like David. But yeah, so it's been really fulfilling. I haven't plugged into the phone much. I haven't been looking at the war headlines much. My blood pressure is imploding, which is great. And I got another couple of days here after an event this weekend. So it's going to be really, really cool to finish up, man. You got to get over to Italy, JD. I promise you'll love it. Ooh, here we go. The rim is still shaking from our conversation about success and spirituality with John Gordon. When is the book coming out, man? I'm all over it.
This is coming out on Tuesday. Tuesday it's coming out.
Sweet.
That's the release date, Tuesday the 24th.
Well, we'll buy a couple of those too.
So if you're watching the Macro Dirt podcast, you got to pick this up on Amazon on June 24th, Tuesday, June 24th. And this is not a buy 1 book. This is like a buy 5 book, right?
Yeah.
Buy 5, hand them out to kids, hand them out to nieces and nephews. Like, this is great stuff.
I believe that, JD, especially handing it out to the kids, because the stuff, things about self-care and spirituality are things that nobody ever taught to Gen X. right? And I think it's really important subject to teach to the next generation because it's something that can change your life and save your life in some cases. So with that, I'm going to run back to the pool. I'm going to grab a panini, a fistful of prosciutto, a stack of Peronis, a bottle of red Chianti, and I'm going to go sit out there and catch some rays for a little while.
All right.
All right, homie. Hasta lo vagina.
Hasta la vagina.
Peace, everyone.